Hi, my name is Kimberly Dawn, and if you're watching this video, you have some questions about the top instructor or top student Facebook community. Now, this video is designed to answer some of the most commonly asked questions, and I'm recording it in one take. So if I flub my words or if I make a mistake, you can just pretend that we're having an in-person conversation. As I do with most of my training, I've created a very quick slide set to answer the vast majority of the questions. And so if you'll give me a second to share my screen, then we can absolutely get started. All right. So if you can see my screen and you can see me, then here we are. So the top instructor and top student Facebook community is actually a new breed of professionals in training. I'm going to get into the problem that I saw in primary flight training and how we're going to go about solving it. But just to tell you right off the top, this is a paid group and it's not for everybody. The cost is high and it might not be valuable to you. But Kimberly, why are you trying to convince me out of it? Well, if you stick around for the explanation, you can make the decision for yourself. Okay. So what is it and is it worth it? Obviously, I'm not going to say no, but I have to explain the problem first. Why did I start down this path? This group, this community of excellence was born out of the COVID-19 crisis that has totally swamped our industry. If this video survives beyond that, I'll be pretty impressed. However, this is a brainchild of mine and it started last April when most schools that I know of were shut down or being threatened to be shut down temporarily as the entire world started into quarantine. My flight school that I was chief of at the time shut down as well. And so I decided that flight instructors probably still needed help. Everyone was panicking. And I put on a masterclass. I put it out to the Facebook communities that I was a part of. I said, hey guys, I'm going to start or do a masterclass for flight instructors only, just to give everybody a little bit of help, a little bit of leg up so we can all keep studying together and waiting for, what I thought was going to be a 3-month quarantine that's now turned into 14 months and counting. In the first masterclass, I was hoping for 5 to 10 people. Long story short, I ended up getting over in all of it. I ended up getting over 250 applications. I ran 2 full master classes where I gave out certificates at the end and we had a lot of celebration and it worked out really, really well. So it morphed and it evolved into a Facebook community where I train every day. And here's a little bit more about it. So let's get on to the next slide. Now, I do have to fully describe the problem that I see in primary flight training now. I've been in the jet world. I've been in the in-between world. I've been in the primary flight training world for quite some time. And there's lots of Facebook communities out there. The online groups are kind of filled with trolls and negativity. But the major problem with primary flight training right now, from an instructor standpoint and from a student standpoint, is being a student is often the training goes really fast and you can't keep up. And if you sit down for an in-person lecture, there's no rewind button. But if you sit down to an online ground school, then there's no one to ask questions to. And it's always this give and take of it's never really great training. Because our market has been flooded with airline pilots that have come to renew their flight instructor rating. They still want to fly. They don't know what else to do. Flight training is still happening. And often it's confusing and it's kind of like the wild, wild west. Everybody who has been in flight training for more than 6 months has either experienced a really great flight school or a really bad flight school. They've experienced a really great freelancer or a really bad freelancer, or they've been taken advantage of, or they've been treated like they're the best person in the world. But the inconsistencies is the problem. I say that flight training is like this massive game of telephone. Your Civil Aviation Authority, so in my country, it's Transport Canada, they tell the Class 1 instructors, which is me, how to teach the Class 4 instructors, which are junior instructors, and those Class 4 instructors then teach the students. And it's kind of backwards. In any other industry, if you were to pay $100,000 for an education, being a doctor or being a lawyer, if in any other industry you're paying that much for your education, you are taught by the best of the best. And so let me stop this for a second. In any other industry, you're paying that much money. You're being taught by the best of the best. And in aviation, it's actually completely backwards. So you're being taught by the most junior people in many cases, like a pilot that has 200, 250 hours. They're fresh out of their commercial license. They get through an instructor rating. All of this knowledge is fresh themselves. In a lot of cases, they don't have a lot of life experience themselves. And so the students get the most junior people, but are paying premium prices that is entirely backwards. And I know that I can't change the Civil Aviation Authority. In my country, it's Transport Canada. In yours, it might be the FAA or the CASA or the IAGA, whatever it is. I can't change the Civil Aviation Authority. And I certainly can't teach students and instructors one-on-one. And I'm wanting to show you that we can reduce the inconsistencies in all of primary flight training. So let's get back to sharing this. So often, of course, $100,000 for an education is utterly ridiculous. If you try to go onto the Facebook groups and get some information as a student, to get some more information as an instructor, there's trolls everywhere. You get lost in the crowd. It becomes this one-way street of questions, but no answers. Now, being an instructor in these environments, there's no guidance on how to become anything beyond an instructor. How do I get a job? Really? Do I send out a ton of resumes? How do I write my resume? Has the industry changed since this book that I'm reading about sending out resumes was written 20 years ago? How is the aviation industry now different than it was a year ago when, any pilot with a heartbeat could get an airline job, but now there's airline pilots flooding the flight instructor industry. What do I do? Who do I talk to? How do I do interview skills? All of this is deeply, deeply important to me. So I've decided to train to specifically flight instructors or flight training students. I'm not training to airline pilots. I'm not training to chief pilots. I'm not training to anybody outside the industry. I'm specifically, knowingly wanting to change the game for primary flight training when it comes to flight instructors and flight training students. We are often left behind. In my own personal adventure, I was treated like I was a paycheck in some cases. I was treated like I was stupid in some cases. I was treated like sometimes I felt like I was very much left behind. I did all of my private license at an uncontrolled airport in the middle of nowhere and then sent into Class C international airspace by myself to do my flight test on my private pilot flight test. I flew in there by myself, and I never want this to happen to anybody else again. Flight instructors, I got your back, honestly. And flight students, if you don't have a flight instructor that's dedicated to excellence, I got your back. We're in here together to make primary flight training better. Okay, now that's the problem. So how are we going to fix it? I'm Kimberly Dawn. I've been a pilot for 21 years. I've been in flight training for 18 years. I'm internationally certified by ICAO in aviation training management and both advanced and basic aviation instruction. In Canada, I'm a Class 1 flight instructor, which is the highest rating that you can get in Canada. And really, I've got all of these years of using a ton of other people's experience. Let's be real about this. I went to the JAA Center of Excellence in Amsterdam and trained there under the founder of Global Aviation Training, which is the arm of ICAO that's dedicated to standardization in aviation training all over the world, Mustafa Homedy. I'm very, very proud to say that he was my instructor while I was there. And I have a lot of experience with DPEs and Transport Canada. I've had a lot of experience with the higher branches of the FAA. I have a lot of experience and good friends at NAFI, the National Association of Flight Instructors. And really, most importantly, is that I have been studying obsessively the psychology of people, the psychology of learning and learning sciences, and the psychology of interacting and how to make training better from all of these people. You can see these are screenshots from my iPhone of all of the books that I read. Christopher Voss is one of my favorites. He said he teaches tactical negotiation, and I translate that into flight training and how you can use it to better your relationship with either your student or your instructor. I like Dr. Wayne Dyer and how to be a no limit person. And I translate that on how you can use it, because this is my obsession. This is my passion. And all of these places, I do my own training constantly so that I can translate it to flight training. Now, okay, so the group, top instructors and top students, making flight training easier. This is a game changer. Okay, so how am I changing the game? As I said, I'm not going to change the CAA of your country, and I can't change flight training one by one, but I have borrowed a training model from another industry that has been wildly successful and deeply researched with a rich history in the industry of the psychology of how to get people to produce results faster, and that's sales training. Okay, I am part of, or was part of, another group, wildly successful group. I modeled this entire process off of that group, and they train tens of thousands of people in a Facebook community, and they have a website back office. And I thought, shoot, instructors need this. If I'm going to borrow from another industry that's wildly successful, let's see if I can make it happen. And darn it, we are making it happen. So how does it work? Essentially, step one, you're going to go to my website, advancingaviation.com, and you're going to sign up for your free account. In that free account, you'll see the courses that I have available, so which is picture number 2. And there's more courses being added all the time. I'm very excited to, well, I can't really announce anything right now, but I'm very, very excited that there is a major game changer coming within the next month. And then step 3, you're going to go to the Top Instructor and Student Facebook group, and you're going to request access with proof that you've paid through the website. So in that website, you get all of your back office videos, but Kimberly, what's in there? Oh, that's another slide, isn't it? All right, so what do you get? You get a private community of people like you. There is only people like you. I am incredibly selective, and I make jokes in the group all the time that I'm not afraid of slinging bodies. If you are not dedicated to excellence, if you are not wanting to learn faster and better and have more fun, if you're not wanting to help each other, and we don't want you in there. It's a private community of people like you, which means also there's no trolls. There's no people that are mean to each other. There's nothing but help and encouragement inside this group. And we do Zoom calls. This is a screenshot from one of my master classes. So we do Zoom calls all the time to help each other out. You get daily training. So here's the big thing. Instead of taking a weekend seminar, okay, where you're blasted, you're drinking from a fire hose, and you have to spend 3 days scribbling notes furiously. You pay your $2,000 to be in this weekend seminar, and you scribble notes, and it's just filled with amazing information. But you remember the first half hour, and you remember the last half hour, and you have 4 notebooks of stuff that you never look at again. I know that training is ineffective. I've taken that training all the time, and I hate it. I like bite-sized pieces that are actionable, that I can use. So that's exactly how I train. You want to talk about navigation? We talk about navigation. We talk about how to master slow flight. So slow flight, and the 6 other exercises that it causes you to either waste time or excel on. We talk about how to master forced landings inside of 2 flights. I talk about how to get a job. I teach you how to talk to your instructor in a way that reduces resistance if there's problems that are happening between you. I talk about how to create a good relationship with your student. I talk about how to talk to or network with new chief pilots so that you can get the job before that airline pilot. I promise you, it's all in here. And I teach it in bite-sized pieces, which means that it's 15 minutes a day. I go live in this Facebook community, me personally live in the Facebook community every day between 15 and 20 minutes with a new training. And I'll show you afterwards that it's just nothing but good feedback coming from it. People love it. If you have a question, you send me a private message because the community is quite small. I answer your question, and I could do a Facebook Live on it. Sometimes I send personal videos, and sometimes I just type it back. But the main portion of this is that I will never blast you with information that you can't take in. 15 minutes a day, every day, watch it whenever you want. Okay, but there's more. I feel like one of those infomercials. What? But wait, there's more. Okay, so there is actually more. So you get daily training, and this is what it looks like: the 7 learning factors, and you get it live from me in the group. You also get action steps that are designed with psychology to get you to your goals. Right? This is for instructors and for flight training students only. Anybody else? Recreational pilots, unless you're a student, need not apply. Chief pilots need not apply. Airline pilots, nope. These are designed specifically with you in mind. Flight training, primary flight training. Website back office with your trainings. The big thing here that I'm going to pretty much tell you on the next slide is that if you're an instructor, I give away my entire instructor rating lectures, essentially all of them, for free in the group. And there's a whole bunch of free lectures for the students as well. If you want to hit the rewind button, if you want top quality training where I dive into the psychology of how to get you to your goals faster, that's in there as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like from the website when you get in there. And every Wednesday, I do free coaching Wednesday. So you have a burning question on how to, like, I'm so frustrated, I can't seem to master my landings, or I'm so frustrated, I can't seem to get my student to master their landings. You send me that question, and it is not unreasonable for me to type it out or do a daily live, or if it's a big one that really burns my bucket, if you'll excuse the cliche, we set up a Zoom call and I train you because you get free personal coaching every week. There's lots of free bonuses. You fill out the Sunday tracker to show you that you're actually hitting your goals. Then on Monday comes the free bonuses. You get mentoring from me. I'm here to make sure that you hit your goals. And I can't be successful unless everybody in this group is a total rock star. And speaking of that, you get to hang out with other total rock stars. I have had people from Texas talk to people in Australia, talk to people in Brazil, and network with each other and actually pass along opportunities. It's absolutely amazing. You get recognition. In the last 6 months, in a massive global aviation downturn, we've had 11 upgrades and people getting new jobs. You get recognition, you post it in the group. We are going to celebrate you because the community is still small enough that we can celebrate you. And of course, job interview skills for those instructors. Don't want to stay an instructor forever. I know you don't. And we're going to change the industry eventually, that the junior people are in charge of this big, huge responsibility. But I'm also going to help you upgrade and get the awesome jobs and get the awesome airplane and get them more money. That's what I'm here to do. And of course, better instruction, because terrible instruction is the bane of my existence. I suffered through it for my private license. I suffered through it for my commercial, my initial multi-IFR, and I suffered through it through my very first instructor rating. And I never want anyone to have to go through that again. Okay, and then of course, training hacks. This is my favorite thing. You'll like Kimism called the bridge. There's a Kimism called life hacks for flight training. There's a Kimism called the 5-minute cartoon. All of it is in there, and I've had a lot of great feedback on it, so I'm designing more and more all the time. Okay, now, is it worth it? Is it worth it? I told you it's gonna be very expensive, so brace yourself. I'm gonna break down exactly what's going on. So you get premium training, instructor and student premium training all the time. That's around $2,000. Those are back office videos that you have access to at all times. And there's so many videos in there that if I were to charge myself out my regular price, then one-on-one instruction would cost anybody or everybody else around $2,000. Daily training for essentially a whole year. I go live in this group for 15 to 20 minutes a day for 313 days of the year. I take some days off, obviously, and I charge myself out at $120 an hour. So if we were to add that up, that's nearly 10 grand of personal training for me on the stuff that actually affects your life. Okay, personal coaching, an hour a week on free coaching Wednesdays for 40 weeks, $120 an hour. You're looking at $4,800. And then of course, your private community of excellence, priceless. Imagine being surrounded by people dedicating to not only bettering themselves, but bettering you too, helping each other up, propping each other up. There's no negative Nancy's. There's no negative Nellies here. There's no people that are, your goals are crap and how dare you and nobody can do that. None of that. We're only here to help each other. We also have accountability. So on Sundays, there's a tracker. And on Mondays, there's Flight Planning Monday. Set your goals, track it through the week, see how well you did. And if you were to price out a personal coach and to make sure that you are tracking toward your goal as fast as you possibly can, let's be conservative and call it $500 a month for the whole year. That's $6,000. So your total value that you're getting in here is $22,000. Do I charge people 20? No, I don't do that because I detest that. And I think that training honestly needs to be cheaper than ever before. But of course, this is the breakdown, and this is everything that you get inside this community. You get the back office videos, you get the personal training, you get the daily training, you get the accountability, you get the community. Everything here is designed to make sure that you get through your training or get through you training somebody else as fun, honestly, as possible. I'm not going to charge you $22,000. What I am going to charge you is $40 a month. Yeah. And $40 a month. It's 2 dinners out or 1 dinner out, depending on your family, because I can't in good conscience charge people that much for this. Okay. I can't in good conscience charge you hundreds and thousands of dollars, which pretty much rightfully I should. I've had 4 separate business coaches tell me that I am utterly ridiculous for charging this little. And when I first started, they had convinced me up to $100 a month, but I'm like, nah, I can't do that to people. I got to bring it down to 40. And I was going to turn it into $39.95, but because there's psychology behind that, I'm like, people are going to see through it and think I'm full of shit. So maybe I shouldn't swear on a YouTube video, but here we are. $40 a month. That's what you charge. And it allows you access to everything that we've already talked about. Okay, so the last thing that people ask me is, but she's Canadian, she can't help me. I live in the States. She can't help me. I live in Paraguay. She can't help me. I live in Brazil. If you speak English with a minimum of grade 4 ICAO English, honey, I can help, okay? So insert country, and I promise you, it's gonna help. And right now we have, well, I shouldn't even say the number of people in the group at the time of recording because it's constantly going up. I started this group with 25 people in March of 2020. And now we have people from 9 countries and growing all the time. It's pretty impressive. And I am Canadian, but here's what some people have said from other countries. Hi, Kim. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to you and everyone here. I passed my grade 3 FIR test, which is the Australian version of the flight instructor rating, okay, on Wednesday. Thank you, Kim, for all the videos and posts on these pages. It's been a huge help in achieving this and starting a conversation with the RAA US now. So it's so as to be able to teach both general aviation and the RAA, and that's Michael from Australia. Okay, hi, I just wanted to reach out and say thanks for helping out with my question in the group and with the lives. It really helped me recognize the importance of balancing my own needs on top of my students. I feel like the whole world is just a little nuts right now. So keeping above the noise, so to speak, is great in this group. I think it's definitely on a trajectory heading towards, or sorry, I was definitely on a trajectory heading towards burnout, and I'm really glad I'm here and have such great support network from you in the group. That's Adam T from Canada. Okay, and this one says, I wish to add my deepest thanks for taking your time as an instructor and sharing that knowledge for free. You are wonderfully amazing. I love this guy, and showed some of the most important leadership qualities. Thank you. Nelson H. from El Salvador. And then of course we have, hey Kim, I just want to let you know that I passed my commercial check ride. I'm feeling confident and eager to get started on my CFI journey with you and the other top instructors. I love that the group keeps me accountable and your daily videos keep me on track. Thank you for the mentorship and bringing together this kick-ass community. Cynthia from the United States. So I could go on and on, but I won't because that's boring. But I wanted to show you that yes, I'm Canadian, but I'm really proud that I'm an international instructor. I'm really proud that I've done the training to help people from all over the world in all the countries. And so that is a little bit about the group. You can feel free to reach back out to me and ask any questions that you want. And in the end, you get a ton of training for $40 a month, and it's all done online on your own time. All right, have a great day.